Jet just absolutely annihilated everybody. He's way better than everybody. Whoopsie daisy. Said it. Tomac did a good job, but Tomac also looked like he was riding a bull.
Yeah.
And Jet looked like he was doing a choreographed dance.
I love the way that you put that. So watching Jet out front, him and his bike just look so connected. And I know they had some setup issues earlier in Supercross, but the way that Jet rides outdoors, it looks like poetry. The way he gets in, he's light. He adds a little bit of English here to get over this obstacle in a really cool, fast, momentum-driven way. But yeah, watching Tomac, he wants to move the earth away from himself. He doesn't look at the obstacles as like, oh, I'm gonna have to flow through or anything. Like he wants to move those bumps, dude. He wants to like come at a jump, and that jump is gonna disintegrate under my tires. You know what I mean? Which is also super cool to watch. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah,
Jet has a finesse that allows him to work well with the bike and allows him to carry momentum forward. And I almost liken that to like he carries momentum and can float over things in the way that like remember when people would liken like the way that James Stewart used to seat bounce. It's like James was the only person that could seat bounce and go that direction as much as he goes in this direction, right? So it almost like his seat bounces could throw him so much farther forward and high at the same time, where nobody else really had that technique down. And it almost feels like that's Jet. Jet has that separator when it comes to keeping momentum going that forward direction, no matter what comes at him. And it was really, really cool to watch that guy ride, just to get in and out of corners so quickly, get around these different bumps and like all these different obstacles and features just so smoothly. It was really cool to watch. But I will say, give Tomac some time. Once he gets more acclimated, that's a tough track to also set your bike up for. I want that known. Paula is a tough one. You have square edge, you have some soft stuff on top, hard, super hard base. It's choppy. Nothing really flows as much as you think it would. So it's a hard one to set up. So I'd say watch Tomac in some of these other I want to say the more legendary tracks.
Traditional.
Yeah, more traditional tracks. I think he's gonna have something more for Jet. Not taking anything away from Jet, he rode amazingly, but just keep an eye out. The boys are coming. This is just one to kind of shake off the cobwebs and get back to it. Remember, Tomac's been out for a while, so yeah, I loved seeing that battle in the second moto, man. It's just two different opposing styles.
The contrast was just wild.
Yes.
The contrast was just wild because last year we saw a lot of Jet versus Chase, which was not great to watch.
But not that.
But they ride the same.
Yep.
This was like, you couldn't have had two more completely different riding styles right next to each other the entire way. And I put up a post in the Moto in the app today, and I just said we're releasing a new bi-weekly series called Film Study, which is just going to be footage that's either just raw footage that you can study, or that same raw footage slowed down with voiceover over top to really point out and talk about, okay, this is what you're watching, this is why. And I said, not only should you be watching the film study here inside the app, but turn the TV on and watch these outdoors, because you get a stark contrast between it. Anybody could see it. Anybody without even any knowledge of the sport. You could watch Tomac and be like, oh, okay, that looks a bit different than Jet. I urge anybody and everybody that wants to learn how to ride a dirt bike to not try and do it the way that Tomac does it, to try and do it the way that Jet does it, because it is way easier.
Yeah.
Way easier. I mean, Jet just standing up halfway, 75%, 100% of the way through the corners, that's easier. I know that people think that sitting down earlier is the simple way to do it, but it's not, especially when the track gets really rutted and really rough. It's way more physical to do that. And you could see Tomac was just, I mean, he's a brute. He just pounds away the track. It's crazy. It's like Barsha, but a better version of Barsha, really. I mean, he's just like a little bit stronger maybe, and it's crazy. It's crazy to me to watch that contrast.
It really is.
One of the big things, the difference is when people watch that, it's like, well, how? Okay, so he stands up deeper. I could see that. That's an obvious one, right? another one is that Jet doesn't brake super hard. Jet lets off of the brakes early and starts to do that fun little like 5% throttle, 10% throttle, that little pop and hop through the first part of the corner, which, by the way, is a really fun way to ride. And it just doesn't take any energy, where Tomac charges in and then brakes as late and as hard as he can. So, which is also effective. The argument, I guess, when people hear this would be like, well,
it works.
Tomac is going equally as fast doing that. I'm like, well, yeah, you're right.
And this is not Eli slander. We are Eli fans. We love watching. He's almost like an anomaly, I think is what AJ's saying. It's like the way that only Tomac can really do that for a prolonged, consistent period, where I feel like if you're trying to replicate something, Jet, you have an easier time, I think, replicating Jet.
If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.